I don't tend to go around going, "Oh, I'm an artist," But yeah, if as soon as that comes up, someone's gonna. I've been 99.9% of the time. Oh, do you sell stuff? Yeah. Yeah. There's sort of a lot of somehow there's a legitimacy to. So I fake it and go, "Oh yeah." Well, it's easier to avoid. Like, "Oh no," and they just go, "That's not going to work." No, so I just say, "Oh yeah," but and I've sold a few things, but I actually really hate it. I feel pretty yuck about it. I either feel really guilty or regretful. I don't know why. I don't know why. I've never been in it to sell, really. I probably might have been wanting to try and sell things when I was a younger man, but that all went by the wayside, really. I think the really important thing to understand about it is that it's really actually a celebration of life. And it truly is a way of celebrating your life every day, for me. Having that opportunity at this point in my life to just spend my time doing that is a real delight. I think I'm kind of mentally quite tough, and it's been so rich here, really rich in terms of working. We've done some fantastically exciting and interesting things here that have allowed other stuff to happen, So, suddenly I'm going to Armenia. I had the dream of my life, the absolute dream of my life was to work in the Sergei Parajanov Museum in Yerevan, Armenia. That was a blowout, absolute blowout. So, and I think very directly, that was made possible by living here. One of the things that's struck me of late is that I've been doing it for such a long time, and it's really got to a point where it's a wonderful kind of stimulus for thinking and for thought and for feeling. I started to work with this really beautiful Iranian woman, Elnaz Sheshkalani, and Sheshkalani, and one day I thought, I should tell her about Parajanov, and thinking that this is going to be. She already knew him, and so this kind of reason why we'd had this wonderful working relationship sort of seemed to really make sense, and. Then I discovered there was a Parajanov museum in Yerevan, and I'm thinking, when am I ever going to get to Armenia? It's not going to happen. And a couple of months goes by, and suddenly there's an invite for Elnaz and I to go to Armenia, and I'm thinking, wow, that's brilliant. I'll be able to go to the Parajanov museum, so that'll be really wonderful. And then the itinerary arrives, and our first venue is the Parajanov Museum. Spend time here, really concentrating, and then push out into the world. I'm kind of more interested in going overseas because I got more interest in my work from people overseas than I have in Australia. And I'm glad I've kind of hung in there doing it, because it's sort of at this point in my life, it's like some feedback loop has come into being, and so it's very enriching and fascinating, and in a way, to me, you're making little bits of cosmos. Really, that's what we're really doing. You make something, it's part of the cosmos, it's part of the whole thing, and that's pretty interesting. The funny thing with the Parajanov Museum, working in the Parajanov Museum, is that we had lots of problems, lots of kind of technical problems and things going wrong, and I can't help but think that, there's Sergei up in heaven looking down going, well, if you're going to work in my house, I'm going to make it difficult for you, because, he had a really difficult time. And so that was a huge learning curve for me. And there's that sense of, really, 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 it'd be great to make something really fabulous, like that would be really exciting. And if you can't confect that excitement, you can't manufacture that excitement. It's either there and real, or not, I suppose. There's so many artists, I think there are probably lots of people way more deserving than me in some... Australia's a very small place and a very conservative place. I'd say be brave. I don't know if I'd be lecturing it, if I'd probably be giving myself advice. I'd definitely say be much braver than I've been. Yeah, much more risk-taking, I think. I think it's been. I think I'm kind of quite conservative in a way, and so that's been a real struggle to push beyond that. But I think maybe that's what's happened now, is because I've been able to really devote more time. Like I'm not working anymore. I can, it's been like the floodgates opening up and. Yeah, I think be brave. Don't think there's rules. I think that was a big hassle for me. Thinking that there were rules around it. Or I don't know, the right way, or something like that. And I think that's silly. I think that's restricting. So I've got to follow that. There's something going on there that I don't truly understand, so it's making real sense to me to follow this mysterious path than to concern myself with Australia. And so I met Phil Bosch, who's just this extraordinarily beautiful experimental filmmaker, and she invited me to Amsterdam to perform, do a performance art piece that I've been working on as part of her exhibition. So I went to Armenia and a bit in love with this woman. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. So it just seems really extraordinary to me that this peculiar kind of discovery of this filmmaker those years ago has just gone on and on and on, this rolling history of, and that's been part of this journey in the last while. Because my life's been like this before work, work and after work, and this after work period, the time that I discovered Parajanov was exactly when I just finished work. 5 days after I'd quit, I discovered this Armenian filmmaker, and I'm like, wow, this guy is insane. This guy is just insane. And 4 or 5 years later, I'm working in the Parajanov Museum, that's just...
Driving up north on the Trans-Canada Highway. The night is sweet, 1,000 stars. I'm driving up north on the Trans-Canada Highway. The night is sweet, 1,000 stars. Should I stay with you? I know. Should I stay for more? Should I stay with you? I know now. Don't wanna leave anymore. Wanna build a home of love and light with you. I wanna build a home. Harvest moon it is, playing in the car. The good old Neil Young is on my side once again. I can see your eyes and I can feel your pulse. Your beating heart gives me the rhythm. Should I stay with you? I know. Should I stay for more? Should I stay with you? I know now. Don't wanna leave anymore. I wanna build a home.
I wanted to project people on my face. It's a really basic thing that I wanted to do. And I'd been doing it a bit, but often it was faces that I'd painted or drawn or whatever, or occasionally a collage thing or a photograph of a mask. And then I started to use real people. And I thought, well, they're really interesting, but if I started to project real people on myself, I felt really uncomfortable about it. It felt like it was an invasion of that person's. You know, if I pick a picture from a magazine or something of them, there's something I didn't. So what I discovered was that, you know, I had all these family albums, and I could use some of those photos, and because it was my family, I felt like there was some sort of permission there, something that made it kind of okay. So that's how the family started. And it originally started just because I used a photo of my grandfather and it looked great. You know, I thought, wow, that's really, really great. And, I got a really good image because I like images so much. So, so then I took another one and then another one and then another one. And I'm very compulsive if I get into something. If something turns me on, I'll really go. And you see, in this instance, I'd got this commission to do this performance in Amsterdam. So that's really what drove it. And I was simultaneously doing this exhibition in Armenia. So, here I had these two international themes that I could use as outcomes for this investigation of my family, and driven by a performance. The aim was for me to create 23 minutes of performance. So out of 23 minutes of performance and using projection and projecting the family on myself, I've produced this huge body of work. You can see it, just stills alone. Then I've got video material and I've got live performance material. So it's quite, it's 3 months. about three and a half months. So the point being that, you know, I think there's a lightness to approaching my family. I never was really seriously wanting to go really deep about it. It's just something that happened as a matter of course. And so, you know, and I think there's an ownership of great love and joy, and there's an ownership of great tragedy and pain. I mean, one of the things that's important, that comes up for me very strongly in doing this work, is that all the men in my family were soldiers. They've always been soldiers. And that goes back to Waterloo, goes back to the Crimea, goes back to the Boer War, World War One, World War Two. Always soldiers. Always fighting. Always in wars. And I think that's had an incredible impact, like a really profound impact on who I am now. And I think it's had a huge, profound impact on who everybody is now. Because I'm just one. That's a story that's repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated. So that transgenerational effects are very interesting to me. So yeah, I'm very interested in the fact that all the men went to war, and pretty much all the women actually provided a foundation for a family to even exist. I think. I think we have this responsibility too. I'm a pain in the ass in a way, because I'm like this Facebook whore that just endlessly puts out images into social media. But I like to do that. I think it's really important. I don't see much of it. Can't tell me there's a billion artists out there that are pumping it out on Facebook. But to me, it's a really legitimate now medium. And it's incredibly disposable. You know, images. You know, I have such an ability to create images now that it's a great skill. It's a fabulous skill that I've got. You know, I can make, and proliferation. So there's no skin off my nose, and what it does is it helps my sense of shaping and creating a life, and you got to create your life. It's like you were sort of saying, no one's going to knock at the door and give you a life. Do you know what I mean? It's like that.
Yeah.
I've read this thing recently, and I think it's so true. There's all this, you got to go out there and find yourself. What do you mean, go and find yourself? You don't find yourself. You create yourself, And I think people get sucked into this. Sounds good. Find yourself. No.
What if you find yourself standing
in the middle of nowhere? I don't know what to say. I've never been good at business. I'm just not very good at business. I've never been very able to think about myself outside of the works, to produce it in a way I can't. Just because I've always been so fucking exhausted from fucking teaching for a lot of time, for many years. 30 years I taught, and I was incredibly distracted. I made a lot of stuff, always made art. But when you have that gigantic distraction happening, it's really, you don't see you can't see, you don't have any perspective. You don't know what you're doing. But it was a way of making a living, And I got to do a lot of things, I got to invent a lot of things in that set of circumstances. And I got to actually, I don't regret teaching. And I don't regret not being very focused about art. I don't regret any of that, because you become what you are. You become yourself. And myself isn't particularly successful in that. And there's no great acclaim. There's no great whole lots of bunches of people going, oh, well, your work's great, or rah, 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 rah. There's none of that. But, it's giving me an adventure. And some people take me very seriously, like, there are not many of them. But there's a few that take me very seriously. And I value that greatly, and I hope. And the other thing I would suggest, this is a bit of vanity here. I think some artists become very successful. And some artists have a huge impact on other people. And don't necessarily very successful at all. And I think I'm one of those people. I think I've had a huge impact on a lot of people. I think I've influenced a lot of people. And that's a very different thing than success. And I think that's a very, I think that's, and I don't mean to be immodest about that. I don't mean to be braggedy about that. I just think, well, that's a fact. It's real. It's what happened.
Belly to belly, face to face. Those eyes you take me to the start. Sweetheart, sweetheart. See me through and you polish me up. Oh, I feel brand new. Your street dog eyes anticipate me. I'm a kid again in a vibrant life. Like a ghost on marble steps into the rain. Into the rain. You make the weight of the world feel like nothing. Your street dog eyes anticipate me. I'm a kid again in a vibrant life. Like a ghost on marble steps into the rain. Into the rain. You make the weight of the world feel like nothing. You make the weight of the world
haven't talked about this very much to people, but I've been working on these fire events for quite a number of years, you know, and we work with lots of different types of people and all sorts of different people. And anyway, I wasn't performing at that moment. I was standing off stage, so to speak. Not as a stage, but like off the performing area, which is a really large paddock, you know. So I'm standing there, just watching what's happening. I was watching this sequence that I'd constructed, a fire sequence using all this fire imagery, and we were working with these Buddhist monks who were up on the sound stage, which was right on the other side of the paddock. And there's, you know, they had musicians. It's just the whole, all the musical side of this performance was coming from the stage, and in that particular sequence, there were these Buddhist monks. So I'm standing there, and they start going into this deep, you know, that deep throat kind of, you know, stuff. And I'm standing there looking, and it's like looking at this fire section that I've been working on. And then suddenly, this spark, this blue spark. I mean, there were no fireworks in this sequence. This was just pure flame stuff, you know. There was no, because we used to use a lot of pyrotechnics, but not in this sequence. There was no fireworks or anything like that. All that happened was that I saw this blue spark jump off the stage into the paddock, and then it took like a big leap, and then it took another big leap and landed on the other side of this little gully that I was standing next to, and then it jumped over the gully and jumped in the top of my head. And I was absolutely terrified by it. It really shook me. It shook me to the core. I just couldn't explain it. There was like, and you know, because those things, something like that happens so fast, you don't know whether you've imagined it or whether, you know, but that's what happened to me. That's what I thought, you know, and I was like, and it really freaked me. It really freaked me. And the next day, we were cleaning up the fire event. Normally I would stick around, you know, and stay for a couple of days even, you know, but I just had to get out of there for some reason. Yeah, very strange thing.
Like a ghost on marble steps into the rain.